Hello and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live from our studios at Kokomimle Joy997 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM and affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including ATL FM Cape Coast, Kekeli Radio Ho, and Radio Max Takrade. Better still, download the My Joy Online app from the Play Store and App Store to listen live around the world. And coming up,
our husbands have run away. They have left us with everything. We don't have anything to do. Our children are in the house. So we are begging the government to please open the border for us.
Open our border, the cry of residents of the western regional town of Elubu protesting the closure of the land border there. We'll hear from the MP for the area who says several calls for government to heed their calls have not been heeded. And minority in parliament hints of motion to force the president's hand as Haruna Idrisu describes as illegal the absence of MMDCEs 9 months into the administration of the government.
That is repugnant to the constitution and repugnant to the laws of Ghana. Imagine that you don't have district chief executive in place. What happens to the management of conflict?
But government says there's no vacuum.
It's not a simple matter as somebody might want, because eventually he's selecting his representatives at the district, municipal and metropolitan level. So careful consideration has to be taken.
Several roads in Accra and Kumasi rendered unmotorable with huge gridlocks after close to 6 hours of rainfall. We'll speak to our reporters and hear from some motorists.
See, I have a program at 7:30. Now it's almost 8:15. It means I'm late already.
In sports.
Well, we hear from former Black Star striker Anthony Bafo, who shares exactly what Ghana has to do to qualify for the 2022 World Cup after missing out on the previous edition.
Eriko has details later. Also, is John Mahama setting the agenda with his thank you tours?
But there is some interesting data that has also come to play that may factor into what we believe will be his chances as we see it, if indeed comes back.
The full analysis and engagement will be set on our social media show State of Play later today. And later in the bulletin, what can kill a man? Is it sex, food, the love of money, or women? Well, the day is finally here to find out.
Listen to me and do it good. If you want to stay in this house, you must do as I say, because I am the madam of this house. Do you hear me?
More of what to expect from Lateef Abubakar's Something Must Kill a Man play. Sounds of some angry residents of Elubu in the western region who have hit the streets protesting the closure of the land border there. Clad in red and black, the residents held placards with inscriptions such as "Open the borders now. Our livelihoods are under threat." It's been 17 months since President Akufo-Addo announced the closure of both land and sea borders as part of efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19. You'll recall last month, residents of Ketu South in the Volta region embarked on a similar demonstration for the border there to be reopened, while the residents of Elubu want government to, as a matter of urgency, declare the borders open. Listen to some of them.
We are the traders in Elubu. Our goods are spoiling and everything is getting apart. We have collected loans from banks and we can't pay. Our husbands have run away. They have left us with everything. We don't have anything to do. Our children are in the house. They are not going to school. I have 4 kids, 2 at the university, 2 at the secondary level, but I can't look after them because the border is closed. And some people are eating. They are chopping money. We are still there in the house. We eat, we sleep. So we are begging the government to please open the border for us.
I'm a taxi driver at Elubu, Sanfra. Since they closed the border, since the 23rd of March 2020, and they closed the border, all our cars have been sold because you don't have money to survive on. And since that time up to now, I'm telling you, people cross every day, day and night. People cross. The immigration are collecting money. Throw me. Anytime they are right now, if even the interior minister, you should discuss his step and come to Elubu. I'll cross him. The immigration officer will collect money and I'll cross him. But if you don't pay, they will just say the border have closed, but you have not closed. That's the definition of the border closer.
So he had some angry residents of Elubu there, and Jomoro MP Dorcas Afotofe, who led the demonstrators, tells Joy News they've been forced to hit the streets as several calls for government to open the country's borders have not been heeded.
We are doing this demonstration because the land borders in Ghana have been closed for way too long. It's been almost 2 years. Our people at the border towns are suffering. As you can tell, people are crying. People that went for bank loans cannot repay. Lives have been lost. Marriages have been broken. People are committing suicide. The whole town is getting into like a ghost place because people are moving out of this place. So people are suffering. They can't pay school fees. Marriages are just turning apart. A lot of things are happening. A lot of hardships. So we are doing this demonstration to tell the government that it should really pay attention and do something about the reopening of the borders because it's been closed for way too long. As a member of parliament, I did a statement. I called on the interior minister to ask him about the closure of the border. Nothing has been done. So we are hoping that by doing this demonstration, it will help us.
So that's MP for Jomoro, Dorcas Afotofe there. Inathalia Kwanzaa is our Western Regional correspondent, and she's been monitoring the situation for us. She joins us on the line with more. Ina, we heard the concerns of the demonstrators, but they're also accusing the Immigration Service officials of taking monies from them. Tell us more.
Yes, Araba. So when we spoke to them, what they said was that immigration officers at Elibo, they are alleging that they take hundreds to this and then hundreds to this in and out from people who are able to pay because they have unapproved routes in Elibo. If you remember when we did the porous border, we identified a lot of unapproved routes there. So they say that these immigration officers are taking money, and if government within 2 weeks does not open up the border to them, they would be forced to use the unapproved route without paying any money, and that would be a tussle between them and these immigration officers.
And what has been the response of the MC for the area to these concerns by the residents?
Well, Araba, he received it and he said that, okay, he would forward it to the president. If they have given him 2 weeks, he assures them that within 2 weeks they would hear from him and the government.
All right, many thanks. Inathalia Kwanzaa is a Western Regional correspondent. We do know that this matter has come up for discussion at the presidency. Presidential correspondent Elton Broby joins me with details. What do we know?
So, Araba Eugene, I told the media briefing on Monday that government is constantly reviewing the protocols that was put in place to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. In response to this border, the call for the reopening of the borders, he says that the president will take the matter to the committee that he chairs that is responsible for Ghana's COVID-19 management. But for now, the status quo will remain. The borders will remain closed until there's a revision.
And we know that this is coming after the demonstration in Ketu South in the Volta region. Many thanks, Elton Brobe. He's our presidential correspondent. Now, Minority Leader Haruna Idrissa says his side will in the coming days demand answers through a motion from President Akufo-Addo over the absence of substantive metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives in the country, describing the development as unconstitutional and a drawback on the country's decentralization drive. The minority leader said the absence of municipal chief executives is fueling conflict and retarding growth across the country. Joy News is learning 2 months ago, Local Government and Rural Development Minister Dan Botre presented to the president a list of potential nominees after vetting thousands that applied for the job. But the president is yet to act on it. Haruna Idrisu is unhappy.
The president is not a caretaker president, and President Nana Addo Dankwa needs to appreciate that he is to govern in accordance with law and with respect to the letter and spirit of the 1992 Constitution, and not to govern as he pleases. It appears to me that he's taking the Ghanaian people for granted, if not a matter of sleeping and dozing off on the job. It's inappropriate, legally inappropriate, for persons whose constitutional mandate have lapsed to be asked to act in acting position. That is repugnant to the Constitution and repugnant to the laws of Ghana. Imagine that you don't have district chief executive, metropolitan municipal chief executive in place. What happens to the management of conflict? If there are major conflicts in those areas, the district security councils, which is an establishment of law, will have to be chaired by them. Managing those conflicts can be worrying and can even escalate.
One of your colleagues, MP for South-Dye, has already taken this matter to court, seeking some interpretations. Government says that there's no vacuum as of now at the assemblies because the coordinating directors and the finance officers are in place. And what the president has done is lawful. He has the right to ask people to serve in acting capacities. Does this explanation sit well with you?
No, you have to go to Article 296. The president must act in a manner that is candid and in a manner that is not capricious. That is required of him. And the exercise of any discretionary authority, the Constitution provides how it should be done. I think that the president is just taking the people of Ghana and our decentralization concept very well built.
So that's a Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu there. But Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, says no vacuum has been created, adding the President has the mandate to ask the Chief Executives to act.
This is a matter that has probably caught the attention of the nation. As things stand now, there's no vacuum at the MMDA level because the President has asked the incumbents, let me use that word, incumbent MMDCs to still stay in office. The report by the National Committee, which did the final vetting, which was chaired by the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Dambutri. That report is with the President. The President continues to look at it. It's not a simple matter as somebody might want, because eventually he's selecting his representatives at the district, municipal and metropolitan level. So careful consideration has to be taken with respect to who becomes an MCE or a DCE. So soon, all I can say is soon the list will come out. I'm not in a position to give timelines as to whether in a week or in 2 weeks. No, I'm not in that position because work is still ongoing, and immediately the President settles on his nominees for the various municipal, district and metropolitan levels. As we have always been doing, the nation will be kept.
So that is the Director of Communications at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin. Now, some roads in Accra and Kumasi have been rendered unmotorable after close to 6 hours of heavy rainfall. Motorists have been held up in gridlocks, forcing many to convert dual lanes into single lanes just to meander their way through pools of water which have taken over large parts of the road. We start off from Accra, where Joy997's Judith Awochitando reported earlier that on the Tesano-Alajo stretch, drivers and passengers were stranded.
This is not the usual scene here on the Tesano-Abeka Road, but it is whenever it rains. For now, cars have been stuck here for hours due to flooding on the roads. And so they have been agitating for a while. We'll be speaking to some of them who are still stuck here. This road is a 3-lane road, but today cars have been forced to use just 1 lane because water has gathered right here on the streets. We also have some policemen around who are trying to direct the motorists. So we'll be speaking to some of them. Hello, sir. Can you tell us, how long have you been in traffic?
I've been in traffic for about an hour now.
Wow. And how does that make you feel?
I feel so bad about it. I feel so terrible about it. See, I have a program at 7:30. Now it's almost 8:15. It means I'm late already. See, this is very bad. They have to do something about it. Indeed, they have to fix the country. It's very important.
So you heard him right. He's asking for government to fix the country because this is something that has been happening every time it rains. Hello, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
How long have you been in traffic?
More than 2 hours.
Wow. And how does that make you feel as a driver?
It's very unfortunate. Our engineers in this country have disappointed us. Me, myself, I'm an engineer by profession, but this thing we shouldn't be going through this. It's not good at all.
Okay, thank you very much. We are literally walking through water right now, and it's a very uncomfortable situation for a lot of drivers here. Yeah. So he says that our politicians are driving in 4x4 cars, and he is using a taxi. and they are still not fixing our roads. And so that makes him very angry. So he's complaining as well that it's been too long since this started on this road and nothing has still been done about it. So he's calling on government to fix the road.
So that's Judith Awoche-Tando's report there. We're hoping to speak to our reporters on the ground. In Kumasi, floodwaters took over some major roads following early morning rains today. For almost 2 hours, commuters were stuck at home, bus stops, and in traffic as some streets and suburbs got flooded. And we will come back to this flooding situation later on in the bulletin. But right now, let's turn our attention on banking. And the Bank of Ghana says it is difficult to differentiate between an original bank check and a cloned one during the withdrawal of money, as fraudsters are now using cloned checks to withdraw money on the blind side of depositors. A caller to the Super Morning Show says he lost over 400,000 cedis from his account, even though he never issued a check for the withdrawal. The total value of reported fraud cases in the banking industry witnessed a substantial increase last year to hit 1 billion cedis, according to data from the Bank of Ghana. This is compared to 115.5 million cedis recorded in 2019. As the central bank develops means to stay ahead of the fraudsters, the head of Financial Stability Department, Dr. Joseph Franz, says it is difficult to deal with cloned checks.
Check cloning technically is when there is a replica of the check, that there is no difference. And probably it is the printing house that may have, produced the same check. And so whoever the fraudster is would have had it there. So it will have all the security features that Mr. Oini raised, and it will pass through all that. If it's a counterfeit check, that's a different thing. That could be detected. But if it's a clone check, all the security features, it will pass and it will not be detected.
I have a similar experience where an amount of more than 400,000 Ghana cedis has been withdrawn from a friend's account using checks without his knowledge. The serious thing is the checks numbers used for the withdrawals are still in his checkbook.
This is the clone check that I'm talking about. For all you know, it passed through all the security checks, but it's the same, it's a replica. And so you have it in your account. But if it turns out that it's a counterfeit check and it shouldn't have passed, the security features should have been detected, then the bank will have to pay. But if it's a clone check, we need to investigate the source, whether it's a printing house or what have you. It needs to.
Dr. Joseph Franz is head of Financial Stability Department at the Central Bank, but certified fraud examiner and specialist in banking and telecom fraud, Ransford Nanado Jr., says the multiple identification cards in the country is allowing fraudsters to get away with crime.
Now, one of the key things that this kind of fraud rises on is convenience. I mentioned cash suppression. Convenience. I don't want to come to the banking hall. Somebody should bring it. And then the money ends up on the street. It doesn't get to the bank. I don't want to come to the banking hall to bring my document. Let the dispatch bring it. So you have situations where Adjoa has never been seen in a bank, but Adjoa has an account in a bank. Convenience. So two things. One is a failure in identification system where we need to get to a point, and I'm happy that the National Identification Authority is rolling out, and by next year it's going to be compulsory, where it's a single identification point. So you cannot come and say that you are Adjoa when you are not Adjoa. It's one of the things that the national ID will fix. The second thing is that we need to have a point where we use our national identification to merge institutions and documents, that if this document belongs to A, there is no way another person should have access to it and bring the same document to perform a transaction.
Ransford Nanado is a fraud examiner. He was speaking on the Super Morning Show earlier today. Let's do our Clean Ghana campaign. And environmental health officers at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly have seized cigarette packs and newspapers from a public toilet facility operator in their Blekuma South constituency. Although the AMA had earlier organized training sessions for public toilet operators, owners of this facility were operating contrary to what they had been taught. They still sold cigarette sticks and newspapers for use as tissue paper. Florence Kuchi is Environmental Health Director.
You know that when we had a meeting, we called all of you to come. And we said you should stop using this paper for people, selling this paper for people to use as toilet papers. Do you remember? You remember? Then why are you still doing it? Is it because you decided not to do the right thing? And then we said you shouldn't sell cigarette in there. And you are selling the cigarette to in there. Why are you doing that? We told you all these things and you are aware and you are doing it. So now, whatever we are doing, are we wrong if we say we want to arrest you? Are we wrong? Will we be wrong?
No.
We will not be wrong.
Florence Kuchi is Environmental Health Director at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And you're listening to the Midday News here on Joy997 FM. Our top story, residents of the Western Regional town of Elubu protest closure of the land border there. We heard from the MP for the area who says several calls for government to open the borders have not been heeded. Also, Minority in Parliament hints of motion to force the President's hand as Haruna Idrisu describes as illegal the absence of MMDCEs 9 months into the administration of the government. But we heard from the Director of Presidency Communication at the Presidency who says there is no vacuum. Still to come is John Mahama setting the agenda with his thank you tours.
But there is some interesting data that has also come to play that may factor into what we believe will be his chances as we see it, if indeed comes back.
The full analysis and engagement will be coming up later today on our social media show, State of Play. And later in the bulletin, what can kill a man? Is it sex, food, the love of money, or women? Well, the day is finally here to find out.
Listen to me and do it good. If you want to stay in this house, you must do as I say, because I am the madam of this house. Do you hear me?
More of what to expect from Lateef Abubakar's Something Must Kill a Man play. Details coming up.
The boys are back, oh! The boys are back! Imagine inviting great footballers like Ronaldo, Messi, and Mbappe into your home. Imagine feeling the big mad temperament of football's fiercest rivals in your living room. Imagine enjoying the home ground advantage of witnessing the best of Serie A, La Liga, Premier League, UEFA Europa, and many more leagues all in English. Or stop imagining. Just get a GoTV decoder now at 89 Ghana cedis and upgrade to GoTV Max to turn your home into the home ground of great football. To purchase a new decoder, SMS GoTV to short code 1731. GoTV. Love it.
Drama from day one.
You're welcome back to the Midday News. It's time for sports, and Oreku joins us now. Hi, Oreku.
Hi, Arva. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
And Ghanaians will be really excited as the Black Stars begin their 2022 World Cup qualifiers on Friday against Ethiopia in Cape Coast with the aim of booking a place for the global showpiece in Qatar next year. Ghana qualified to the World Cup for the first time in 2006 before participating in the 2010 edition in South Africa and Brazil in the 2014, but failed to make it to the last edition in Russia 3 years ago. Former Black Stars striker Anthony Bafo urges the playing body and the technical team to be united in order to stand a chance of qualifying.
It's all about organization, planning and details, having a good scouting team together, observing the opponents, have a good environment wherever you are, and create a good team spirit. This is essential. You know, you can have 11 Messis, but 11 Cristiano Ronaldos or 11 Abedi Peles. That doesn't mean that you will have success. So it's about togetherness, unity. Once again, not only unity by mouth. You know, sometimes you must humble yourself, and but for the good cause of the team. Ghana, we have the potential and we have the quality. Now it's up to us to show it on the playing field.
That was former Ghana striker Anthony Bafo, and Ghana would be playing against Ethiopia tomorrow at Cape Coast and then travel to South Africa 3 days later as the qualifiers for the 2022 World Cup begin.
All right, many thanks, Riku. Let's return to a flood story, and this time in Kumasi, because flood waters took over some major roads there. For almost 2 hours, commuters were stuck at home, bus stops, and in traffic as some streets and suburbs got flooded. Affected areas include the Kwemu, a juicy stretch of the Kumasi-Accra Road. Ohim Interior has been gauging the impact of the downpour. He joins us on the line with updates. Ohim, which areas have you been to, and what's the situation there?
Yes, about the Kwamo, a juicy stretch of the main Kumasi-Accra Road was blocked to traffic this morning, as well as the Kumasi Fantastic Roundabout, the fire roundabout road, and then the Kumasi Provincial Road was also affected, as motorists and commuters were stranded for several hours, had to wait before the flood waters subsided, before they were able to use the road. I spoke to some of the affected motorists and residents. So one pay baby and fire, and so never for Cano. Any pair of fire could be what? Just say it be one more deno, almost four now or more the almost extra quanim. Say, had it in so tight and yasam ketwa cry. Yana no dame papa passing so near taught now with Jina as rock a canal to a year. Just say, as what here the bano. So we any pacrano and pay baby and yina, a bit me a foul. And if it are for no more for handing yina and so try. Omunya problems, I won't call for car watches it and yasam ketwa cry and had. And soon if I had a dozen to a sort of penwa seminar or more boy.
So, what have they been saying? Translate to us what he said.
Yes, this man is a motorist, and he tells me it's been happening almost every now and then. But the situation today was very severe compared to what has been happening in the area. He talks about the fact that the current from the flood waters were so heavy that it can even sweep away a human being. And in that regard, he's appealing to authorities to intervene to solve the problem. This was exactly at the South Junction in Martin.
Right, many thanks. Ohim Interior is our correspondent in the Ashanti region. Now, post-harvest losses account for 30 to 40% of food wastage in Ghana, according to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The weak connection between farmers and buyers have largely been blamed for that. Fortunately, a mobile and web application seeks to solve that. The Kwafo Marketplace has been developed by the Institute for Scientific and Technological Information of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. On Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with the scientists behind this innovation.
Kwafo Marketplace is an online platform for farmers, agro-input shops and marketers to sell their goods and services. There are two versions, an online version and a mobile app which is available on Google Play Store. Engineer Michael Wilson is the head of the electronics division of the institute.
It's a dedicated e-commerce platform for registered farmers. We are dealing with about 4,000 farmer-based organizations across Ghana. So these farmers are registered to sell on the platform. We don't want that platform to be like a platform where people can do fraudulent stuff and say, oh, I'm selling this, you pay and you never get your stuff.
Engineer Michael Wilson ending that report by Kwesi Deborah for Tech Thursday. Now, one tour, multiple claims, and many press conferences and media commentaries by the NDC and NPP. John Mahama's thank you tour seems to be giving his opponents a lot to talk about. In the wake of the latest CDD post-election survey results, our social media live show, State of Play, will this afternoon dissect Mahama's impending third attempt with a fascinating verdict you can't miss. Here's what to expect from Evans Mensah and Winston Amwa.
So State of Play is coming up again. I'm excited about this conversation because after what? 8 months?
Yeah, 8 months. We're in the 9th month now.
John Mahama now decides to do a thank you tour.
Yeah.
And things that he said on the tour had become fodder for press conferences and counter. There have been, what, my last count, two so far. There's NPP the first.
There's been one from the NPP. The NDC has responded. You've had the NPP's John Boydu also coming up issuing statements here.
In fact, this week, Bamian Samoa told me on top of that they're going to do a third one. And I asked Felix, who also said, well, if they do it, then we have to respond. So one thank you tour triggers this chain of, we need to discuss it. It's important because for us, we're looking at it, we're thinking it's signaling the possible third coming of John Mahama.
So State of Play will be live at 2:30 today on the Joy News and Joy FM Facebook pages. It's also on YouTube with links on Twitter. Tune in and engage. It's time for entertainment, and Mapito joins me. Mapito, today we'll find out what kills a man.
So, Araba, is it sex? Is it food? Is it alcohol? Is it Araba's gorgeous voice? What is going to kill a man? Today we find out at the Labadi Beach Hotel at 7 p.m. in Latif Abubakar's Something Must Kill a Man. Here's what you can expect.
Bema, yes, sir. What is saying? I see a big dream, and in that dream, you were dreaming. You were dreaming in that dream.
Go there, Pastor.
And I have a feeling that there's a feeling of that dream that you are dreaming.
Pastor.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
I'm getting it.
Your offering fair.
Apisco, listen to me and do it good. If you want to stay in this house, you must do as I say, because I am the madam of this house. Do you hear me?
I am the madam of this house.
Is that what kills a man?
Maybe.
Okay, so people who want to watch the play, what should they do?
All right, tickets are on sale at Airport Shah, Bachona Total, Joy FM Kuala, and Labadi Beach Hotel, and also via the short code 4471092 #4471092 on all networks. Today, tomorrow, and Saturday, 7 p.m. sharp at the Labadi Beach Hotel.
Many thanks, Mapito. And that's how we end the news. Our top stories: the cry of residents of Western Regional Town to government, Western Regional Town of Elubu to government, protesting the closure of the land border there. They want it opened. Also, minority in parliament hints of motion to force the president's hand, as Haruna Idrisu describes as illegal, the absence of MMDCEs 9 months into the administration of government. That and many more stories are on myjoyonline.com. Coming up next after the news is Living Word, and on the topic, Lead Me Lord with Pastor Mensa Otabil. I'm Arba Kumson. Have a good afternoon.
If home is where the heart is, then let's go home, shall we? Let's go where the entertainment is, where the passion is.